Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a headline here that says official Black Ops key art features September 11th and possibly the Twin Towers in an upcoming major video game that's going to be released this fall. We're going to look at this and really, obviously, this is huge news, possibly involving the Twin Towers, maybe a campaign mission with the Twin Towers, some rumors going around, possibly a zombies map involving the Twin Towers. This is huge stuff. This is really good. Now, let me just say, I really haven't bought a COD game since, I think, World War II back in 2017, 2018. But if they've got a Twin Towers mission, I'll be pre-ordering it for sure. Hidden Black Ops 6 key art detail hints at a 9/11 mission. In May of 2024, Activision finally revealed the official Black Ops 6 key art, and people have potentially found a hidden September 11th reference with people on X zooming in on the art, and the date supposedly is showing 9/11/2001. And so people are starting to speculate, what could this mean? What is my speculation when it comes to possibly a Twin Towers mission, maybe a 9/11 mission, stuff like that. Guys, when it comes to the campaign, my guess is that they would do a mission like in response to September 11th. So maybe they would do a cutscene showing it, but you wouldn't actually get to do a mission to where you could go into the Twin Towers possibly after the planes hit or anything like that. It would be more so the response after it. That would be my guess. I know people were speculating, well, what if you're on one of the flights and you have to stop, the hijacking and things like that. I mean, that's just really unrealistic. I guess if they wanted to take it that route, they could, but it just seems very unlikely to me. So I would say when it comes to the campaign, it might be a nothing burger. Maybe you could argue that, they'll put you in the Twin Towers and you have to rescue people or something, but, this is based on a war. I would guess the reference in terms of the campaign is mainly focused around September 11th happening, and then you start the mission and it's like a response to September 11th or something like that. Now, who knows? Maybe it'll be, completely fiction. Maybe they'll do something totally different. There are certainly a lot of creative ways they can go with something like September 11th when it comes to adding some type of fiction element to it. But in terms of like being inside of the towers, it just seems unlikely, in my opinion, that would really relate to a soldier in some type of mission unless they made it completely fiction. But when it comes to the Twin Towers, there's some big stuff, and you hear Treyarch and some of the high up folks talking about possibly a Twin Towers zombies map called Collapsed. And I love zombies. I've always liked it. I love Black Ops 1 zombies. It kind of tailed off there when you get the Gobblegums and everyone gets perks at round one. I've heard they're possibly doing away with the Gobblegums. They're not needed. We're not 3 years old. We don't need 20 perks on round one. So that's good news. And the other thing is they need to go back to possibly the Black Ops 1 or the Black Ops 2 game mechanics when it comes to zombies with the standard perks and all of that. And I think they're going to be doing that. But what if they launch, because we remember the Titanic Zombies map that was a complete flop, mainly because Black Ops 4 Zombies was not good. I love the Titanic. I've talked about it a lot. The reason, and you know what? I might actually play that map and show it to you guys. It's just, I thought they were going to do a zombies map where the ship is sinking and you could see flooded rooms, but really like only the boilers were sinking, and it didn't really work. The map was just not, it was not up to standard. When I was younger, if you would have told me they were going to do a Call of Duty Black Ops zombies map on the Titanic, I would be like, holy crap. But of course, it turns out it's not very good, mainly because it was Black Ops 4, but you're talking about the Titanic, a big tragedy, a zombies map being made after it. Well, it looks like the Twin Towers is next, and the map is called Collapsed, and quite possibly the time frame the map is going to be set in, it's the time in between the planes hitting the towers and the towers falling. So this could be a huge deal, and this would be a great map to possibly explore the Twin Towers in a video game that's obviously going to be Ultra HD. This could be great news if it actually happens. And I know people will say, no, they're not going to do that. They would never use the Twin Towers like that. Well, they did it with the Titanic, and I get the Titanic was back in 1912. It's a little bit different. but it wouldn't shock me if they actually did do a Twin Towers Zombies map, maybe called Collapsed or something like that. So we'll have to see, guys. It would be huge news, and we could obviously, not even pay attention to the zombies and just really explore the Twin Towers. But I would also like, to get to round 20, round 30, kind of like the old days, things like that. And hopefully they really have, gone back to the basics. I know the community we want Black Ops 1 game mechanics. We want Black Ops 2 game mechanics. We don't want Gobblegums where we get 50 perks on round 1. We're not 5-year-olds. So maybe they'll do that. Let's hope. And maybe they will kick off. And the launch map will be you start inside the Twin Towers, possibly on the North Tower roof. So we'll have to see. But when it comes to 9/11 and possibly the campaign mission, the rumors are that, look, you might be on an airplane that gets hijacked. Maybe you'll have to try and save it. It's unrealistic, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's what it was, because technically you're really not involving the Twin Towers, and you either succeed and you're able to save the plane or you don't. And there's other rumors about possibly being inside the towers, but I just don't know how that relates, unless you're going to go really unrealistic and make the towers like a war zone or something and do something totally different. I don't see how being in the towers and trying to escape really relates to a war situation. It doesn't. So those were workers in there, so it just doesn't really make any sense. And they're like, well, maybe you'll save people. It still doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it would be crazy if that was actually a mission. The main problem with missions is you really can't explore the entire area. They keep you confined to like a certain objective, but I guess you'll take whatever you can get. And this is the latest report out of Black Ops 6. Again, I used to play Call of Duty, not a ton anymore, but if this is some big news, and this is definitely going to up their sales if they do something like this with the Twin Towers, because it is such a historic event. And we've always wondered if they would ever reintroduce the towers into some type of video game, whether, it's too soon, maybe they need to wait a little bit longer. We don't really know they're even going to be in Black Ops 6, but there have been some rumors. And, at this point, it's been over 2 decades. I also know Call of Duty has kind of trended away from, like, the really graphic stuff. They don't really have many missions like that. So, based on what they've done in the past, at least recently, it seems unlikely they would have a real graphic Twin Towers related mission in the campaign. But it's something to think about. And maybe as we get closer to the release, they'll give us a shot of the Twin Towers, which would be huge, or something like that, to kind of signal that they are in the game. And there is possibly a September 11th related mission. The only real video game that I can remember that like is about the Twin Towers, it's like this weird Escape the Twin Towers. I want to say it came out maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I did do a video on it. I was like the cursed video game or something. I don't remember the title exactly, but it has horrible graphics. You could tell it really wasn't funded, because that's just such a non-starter in terms of, a situation. Why would anyone buy something like that? It's just going to get people depressed. But it is interesting, like trying to escape the Twin Towers in a simulation. Obviously, with Call of Duty, a huge brand, no matter what missions they have, it's going to be bought either way. So they technically could get away with having the Twin Towers as a mission. So we will have to see where this ends up going with the game coming out. I think the game normally comes out the first week of November, although there's been a few that like get released right around Halloween. They really should release it on Halloween night. That'd be a great time to put out a Call of Duty game. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.